back live. Now, I'm just finna go ramble, ribble, rabble on anything right now. Don't feel like getting this. Yeah. Don't ever underestimate the power of a lazy man. Motherfuckers would be so lazy to the point where they'll be sleep in bed. They got a bill to pay. They'd be like, I don't feel like going to work. Screw it. Let me start a business. Like, bro, when you so lazy to the point where you just don't want to get up, but it's so easy for you to just start a business overnight and it succeeds. Like, bro, that would be so freaking amusing. I just walk into my homeboy room. I'm like, hold on, bro, weren't you, bro, weren't you working at William Wiggy Mart? Bro, like, nah. Yesterday, I ain't feel like going, so I just started a business. I'm like, what? You telling me you could have did this entire time? Yeah, I was too lazy to get up though. So it was either do that or go to work. So I did that. Like, bro, that would be so freaking amusing. Oh my god. Like, man, like that one lazy homeboy just automatically become Bill Gates status. And I like that. I like that. Because you can call him lazy all you want. He gonna throw money at you. Whether you accept it or not, there's still gonna be that level of spite. It's just gonna be like, dang, I do want it, but he doing this because I used to call him lazy. Dang. ah, ah. Oh my god. Man, hope y'all feeling fantiggity-tastic. Fantiggity-astic. Wait, fantiggity-tastic, fantiggity-astic. Whatever. Hope y'all feeling swellingly today. Yeah. If only. If only. Luckily for you, this is not a string or anything freaking elastic. This is copper. Ah, screw it. I feel like making an electromagnet. Why? Because I can. It's this electrical component anybody can create anyways, so why not? I really thought about it like that. Anybody can create a freaking electromagnet. All you need is just some copper wire. Yeah, really, all you need is just a very old charger that you don't even use no more. And then after you get that charger, you wanna know what you can do next? That's right. Strip that mug down, get the copper inside, and wrap that mug around a nail. Boom, you got an electromagnet. And what's funny is the fact that anybody can do it. I will keep reiterating this. Because you don't gotta be no freaking scientist, no electrical engineer. Bro, this is a home science project at this point. But depending on how far you're willing to go with it, that's where the real gold is. How far are you willing to go with something simple? It's like, oh, I can jump up super high. Are you willing? Are you willing to go jump up super high and do trick shots? Are you willing to do that? Like, that's what this is. Like, you can create an electromagnet, but can you create a relay switch? You can create an electromagnet, but can you create a transformer? You can create an electromagnet, but can you create a motor? Because they all work on the same freaking principles. And they all freaking work as freaking magnets and inductors. So the real question is, how far are you willing to go? You feel what I'm saying? It's literally like that transferable skill taught that we had, where if you learn one skill, you can basically apply it anywhere. And it's the same with this. Like, a little kid can make a speaker right now. Like that's no over exaggeration. They can really make a speaker driver. All they need is just a PCB after that. Confirmation. Like anybody can do it. Anybody can make a transformer. Anybody can make a freaking relay switch. The only thing that I would say would be necessary for those components to behave the way you want it to behave is the input system into which you connect it to. You can connect a freaking inductor, electromagnet, or a relay switch to literally any battery source and it'll still work. Especially those relays that can automatically switch on their own, creating AC. But that segues into my next point. You're gonna need, I wouldn't say you're gonna need, but it is required for you to have a specific type of signal in order for you to have a speaker or a transformer work effectively and efficiently. Like you can't just connect a transformer to a DC source and expect it to work. Mm-mm. That's not how it works. Because transformers work on alternating current. If you just have DC, it's just going to induce once and it'll stop after that. That is why we have ICs, that's integrated circuits. That's why we have microprocessors. That's why we have internal core processors. That's why we have things called bridge rectifiers. No, H bridge. Either way, that's why we have multiple ways to create AC, which is how you can get sound to your phone, and which is how you can create higher voltages or higher amperages from the same amount of current and the same amount of voltage. And that's the beauty of freaking electronics. Like you're not limited. You're not limited by what you can create. And then depending on the geometry, and we haven't even gotten into the freaking geometry of each and every freaking coil. Like, could you imagine what would happen if you were to basically have something like this instead looking like either a pyramid, a cube, a trapezoidal prism, etc.? Like the behavior of the electromagnetic field would be so vastly different. And that's because of the geometry of how it's spread out. Like, hold on. Let's say, magically speaking, I somehow found a way to coil this freaking entire bowl. Don't know how, probably with glue, but you have one here and one here. The surface area of this is very smaller than the surface area of this. But since energy cannot be created nor destroyed, you'll have a more concentrated field here than this one, even though both of them are outputting the same amount of electromagnetic energy. And that's because the surface area here is concentrating that field down. It's basically like a water pipe. This is basically the water pipe when you don't cover it. This is you when you are covering it. It's the same amount of water that's coming out, but you're covering it or you're condensing it to the point where it can shoot out more focused. And that's another thing. Even though I am a firm believer that you can create more energy from less, depending on the context, you're really just transforming energy into a more useful way, shape, form, or manner. Which is also why I would say beginning and intermediate scientists and engineers are like, how can I create more? How can I create more? I need a bigger battery. I need a bigger battery. When honestly, you don't need more energy. I'm gonna be honest with you. All you need is just smart amplification systems. Like with sound, I'm gonna say this with sound waves. Instead of you just trying to have 100 watts of power powering a speaker driver, you can just have some resonators in the center or around that speaker driver, and you can just resonate them at their resonant frequencies, allowing them to constructively interfere and to basically create a louder sound. Remember, the same amount of energy did not change what you inputted, but because it interacted with other amplification systems that basically act as springs, you're basically able to create or tap into, as other people would like to call it, ambient energy. And again, to this day, I will say, Tesla, what Tesla was calling the ether is nothing more but radio waves, and I stand on that. Because what else do you know that if you were to basically create a very huge coil, would just automatically have energy just be produced like that? Like if it's coming from somewhere and Tesla's like, oh, it's the ether. Oh my God. Bro, you just coiled something so much to the point where it can resonate with the natural resonant radio wave frequencies that have always been here. That's basically what you're doing. You just found a way to basically tap into that so you can use it for power. Like that's all that Tesla did. And if you add a battery to it, you're just basically creating a stronger effect. Like, do you all wonder why there are crystal radios that don't work without a battery? That's why. They don't need batteries. All they need is to just be induced at the right frequency, and the sound wave that they are carrying or the signal that they are carrying will be sent through to the circuit and outputted through the speaker. That's all you really need. And so I say all that to say this. You don't need more power. You need amplification systems. Basically springs, as I call them. And what springs are things that can produce their own power, but they need another external source to activate it. It's like a water dam. Like there's a whole bunch of energy there. There's a whole bunch of water there, but it's blocked by a dam. It's not until you take that key and you unlock it, you open that door, that's where all that energy comes through. The energy was not created. You just had to unlock the door. And that's basically what resonance is. Especially with cavity. Hold on. Especially with cavity type of systems, where you have a sound wave pass through this entire chamber and it will create a standing wave inside. Again, which is why we say this is a spring. The chamber acts as a spring for sound waves. The same exact thing for literally anything. Like anything around you can be a spring depending on how you use it. Like a leaf on the ground can basically be a spring for a larger fire. Like, yeah, you added lighter fluid onto the whole patch, but you didn't create fire out of nothing. You just added more things that could amplify the large flame to the point where it can become large. Meaning a leaf, a piece of wood, anything that's burnable. You're just adding more. And potency is very important too. I'll say that much. Potency of what you add is so powerful because it can take you a whole long way. Because you can have a big log that can produce a tiny flame or a normal flame. But then you can have something like lithium and you add it to water and it'll just go all over the place. And that's what I like about it. Because there are ways to have potent energy sources. You just have to find where they have to go and where they need to go for them to be potent. Because what's potent in one system can just be weak in another system. which is why you really have to understand how each and every system and principle works. That's how you get the best and most out of your energy. You don't just dump a bunch of energy into a system and pray for the best. Be smart with it. As a matter of fact, it's the same way. It's the same way with freaking lever systems. Like this is a freaking lever right now. If I put the freaking axle over here, with the same amount of energy, I'm able to move this farther and faster. But the amount of force that I move it, at is not as strong as the one at the end. And yesterday I was like, huh, why is it that I can't feel it despite knowing that this is stronger? And the reason being is that it's slower. This one is faster and this one is slower, meaning that you're more likely just gonna get a press instead of just like a bang. Instead of it just being a strong punch, it's a strong push. It's the difference. Like when you have it like this, both of them are just like when you have it like this. But when you put the axle here, this end is more like a strong push, and this end is more like a fast punch. And they're both the same amount of energy, but they're just transformed in different ways. That's how pneumatic and hydraulic systems work in jacks, basically. Why do you think that this end is used for a jack? It's slow, but it's strong, and it can push a lot for the same amount of energy that you input it right here. As opposed to if you were to put the axle here, it wouldn't really move much. But you put it here, you get more force, but this axle just moves more slowly, which is why they also have gear locking mechanisms. Oh. Or something to basically, every time you jack it up, it locks it in place. You put the jack down and you push it back up. It allows it to go up more and more and more and more. Huh. I just explained to myself how jacks make sense in a better way. Huh. But yeah, that's basically how you can get amplification of a single system. Basically, with the most basic mechanical advantage that you can try right now. Like, if you have an aluminum pan and a stick, try this with yourself. Use your finger. Just do this. Use the same amount of energy, and you'll see how instead of this just tapping it, it'll just press downwards. And this will tap it, but it will not even be as strong. And you'll be like, why I feel the same? The reason being is because of the way the energy is being transferred. You transfer energy fast, but with a weak force, you're gonna feel the same amount as if you were to transform us. If you were to output a stronger force, but at a slower speed. There we go. I had to slow down so I can really speak to y'all about this. There we go. But yeah, and just know that to all my scientists out there, if you really want to build something, if you really want to make something shake, you don't need power. Like, yes, it may be a necessity in order for you to get the system going. But in terms of you needing a lot to get what you want done, you don't need that. All you need is just a smart enough amplification system and a clever enough design to make it work. That's all you really need. Now, intermission time, where I check the comments. Let's see. Boom boom. Kolaizi, what's goody? Osama, what's goody? Bintu, what's goody? What's goody to all of you? And thank you all. Thank you, especially for that. Like, thank you, truly. Now, since that's all the comments, intermission time over. Now, springs don't only apply to mechanical advantages systems. They also apply to anything that you do in life. Like, that's the beauty of this idea of seeing everything as a spring. Because once you see of, oh, I can put my energy here and I can get more out of it instead of putting it here and me getting way less. That's how you can really start seeing everything right now. And what's a good example other aside of that? Hmm. Basically, right, you're cooking something, and instead of you having oil, you just use steam to get a different result. Like if you were to use oil to cook a ball of dough, you would just get either fried dough, donuts, or some other fried bready type of food slash delicacy. But if you were to steam it, now all of a sudden you got things like bao buns, or you can get something like char siu or something along those lines. You feel what I'm saying? You use the same amount of energy in terms of heat, but you use different types of you use different materials to amplify a specific effect that you want, which is how you can see everything as a spring. If you want more of that Maillard reaction, then boom, add oil. For the same amount of heat, you can get it faster without it burning. But if you don't want that Maillard reaction and you just want nothing but softness and chewiness, then steam the buns. You don't have to always rely on no oil or no water to just always make bread. There's many ways to make it. It just depends on how you want it. And that's in the literal and metaphorical type of way. And it's the same exact way with skills. It's like if you're naturally a farmer and you're trying to sell your product in the city, you won't get as many sales in the city than if you were in somewhere like I wouldn't say an urban, but a rural like area where you'll more likely see townsfolk and townspeople 10 times out of 10. You're going somewhere where you can get a more volume, you can get more volume of a profit while also getting other benefits as well. In terms and in comparison to a person in a rural area that's basically an artist or a music producer that wants to get their music out there, but because they can't be around a wide volume of people, they're dealing with a low volume of people here. Meaning they have to move to the city, not because they can't make it in a rural area, but because it's easier to amplify it when a whole bunch of people are able to listen to that music and to have eyes on you. That's the difference between being in rural and being in a city, a suburban, a urban, etc. Depending on your goals and depending on exactly what you want, truly depends on whether or not you have to be more in the public or more in a rural like area. And that's truly important. And to sum this all up right now, let me take my time. First, everyone, breathe in, breathe out. How y'all doing? Did y'all drink water today? I hope you did. And if you don't, get you some water. Make sure your skin looking shiny. The best amplification system is the company you keep. Having the right people around you can truly bring you to your dreams or crush them entirely. Like, you have 10 people, each split into two groups, I should say. These people, they are still in the same cycles, smoking, drinking, doing whatever, talking about people behind their back, talking about you behind their back, your backs. And then you have other people that respect you, respect your choices, doing their own thing, inspiring you to do more, you inspiring them to do more, this, that, and the third. And you want to achieve a dream. Now, which group of people would you choose? Would you choose the ones that are toxic or that are more likely going to stunt your growth? Or are you going to choose the ones that are going to amplify you and get you to your goals faster? Now, here's the kicker, both will. But depending on how fast you get there and depending on how your mental state is how grateful, how gracious, and how amazing your life will be. So which group would you choose? If you would choose this, then I can't judge you. I don't want to judge you. If you chose this group, however, then congratulations. You'll be way happier and more successful. Not because you're around people who are like-minded, but because you're around people who are able to care for you in ways that these people couldn't. And so if you are around these 5 people and you can't get away from them, separate as far as you can. The more you separate from them, the more that you'll align with these people to the point where you can be like this right in their face, and all it takes for you is to just combine. But yeah, that's what I'm gonna call this freaking live. After I make it public, I'm gonna call it the Young Elder Podcast, episode 36, Amplification and the powers thereof. Because there is power in amplification. Because no matter if we breathe, no matter if we walk, no matter if we stay still, there is something around us that can amplify something. No matter if it's relevant to us or not. There is always something that can amplify us all around us. Just takes the right eyes to see it. And with that, stay peaceful, blessed up, miracled up, and know that you will appreciate what's taken care of by divine and one above all our high source of God, as well as everyone that truly and genuinely and deeply cares about you deeper than their souls. Always remember that here you are loved. We care about you here if no one else does. We do. I do. Know that no matter what, we are always here to give that listening ear. That community tab is always on my YouTube if you ever want to talk. We're here for you when you need it. Don't be afraid to talk to us. Don't be afraid to talk with us. We're here for you when you need a listening ear. We're here for you. Okay? Now come in for this hug. Yeah, come in. And as always, I shape peace out of the earth.